You open TikTok just for a few minutes, but suddenly it's been an hour. You didn't even notice. Why? Because TikTok isn't just an app, it's a lab, and you are the experiment. You think it's harmless, a quick escape, but what you're entering is a highly engineered experience designed by behavioral scientists, powered by AI, and optimized to keep you inside. Every element, the interface, the speed, the sound, the format, is crafted to bypass your thinking and lock onto your instincts. TikTok didn't invent addiction, but it perfected it for the mobile era. Each video is a hit. Fast, funny, shocking, emotional. Swipe, new story. Swipe, new reward. Your brain learns. Instant pleasure, no effort. TikTok doesn't entertain you. It trains you to crave stimulation, to avoid boredom, to expect dopamine every 5 seconds. And here's what that does. Your baseline for satisfaction rises. Regular life feels dull. Reading a book becomes hard. Sitting in silence, almost impossible. You start to chase that rush outside the screen, but nothing compares. The platform engineers your attention by feeding you unpredictability. That's what makes it addictive. Not just the content, but the randomness. It's not a scroll, it's a slot machine. Over time, this loop reshapes your mind. The idea of effort feels wrong. The expectation of instant results becomes standard. The discomfort of waiting becomes intolerable. Even productivity apps mimic TikTok now. Short-form content dominates every platform. Why? Because your brain has been taught to respond that way. Not by nature, but by conditioning. TikTok doesn't wait for you to search. It studies you. From the moment you pause on a video, it begins building your psychological profile. What makes you laugh? What makes you angry? What makes you stay? After just a few scrolls, TikTok knows your triggers and feeds them back to you. You think you're in control, but you're not browsing. You're being shaped. Every second, the system adapts. It knows if you're sad. It knows if you're lonely. It knows if you're insecure. And it knows exactly what to show you to keep you there. It's not just content you like. It's content you need emotionally, whether that's validation, escapism, or even outrage. The algorithm isn't a reflection, it's manipulation, and it doesn't stop. You'll get more of what kept you scrolling, even if it's bad for your mental health, even if it's toxic, even if it makes you feel worse, because the goal isn't to make you happy. The goal is to keep you engaged. In China, kids use Douyin, a version of TikTok with time limits, educational content, and curated values. Outside China, no limits, endless dance clips, absurd trends, and clickbait. Why the difference? Maybe because TikTok isn't just a platform, it's a tool, and that tool has different functions depending on the target. Douyin restricts kids to 40 minutes a day. It rewards academic achievement. It promotes science and innovation. Meanwhile, TikTok elsewhere feeds loops of distraction. It's not an accident, it's policy. If a government gives one version to its youth and another to the rest of the world, ask yourself, why? What kind of future does that create? What kind of global landscape emerges when some are raised on discipline and vision, and others on chaos and noise? TikTok is changing how your mind works. You lose focus. Reading becomes harder. Deep conversation feels slow. Everything starts to feel too long. Your attention span shrinks. Your tolerance for silence disappears. And your brain becomes wired for constant input until you can't stop. This isn't just distraction, it's rewiring. Your brain adapts to micro content. It expects novelty constantly. It stops tolerating complexity. You become less patient, less curious, more reactive. It also affects memory. When content is designed to be disposable, your brain stops encoding it deeply. You remember the emotion, not the details. You learn to feel, but not to think. You become emotionally conditioned, impatient with nuance, hungry for speed, anxious without noise. And that's not just habit, that's architecture. TikTok didn't fail, it succeeded in creating the most addictive content machine in history. You're not watching, you're reacting, you're looping, you're learning. But not what you think. You're learning to scroll, to crave, to escape, not to understand. TikTok is training your mind not to explore, but to consume, not to connect, but to perform. It's not just changing what you do, it's changing who you are. Because TikTok isn't just on your phone, it's in your head. The question isn't, do you use TikTok? The real question is, does TikTok use you? If this changed how you think, share this video. Someone you know is still scrolling, and they need to hear this before they forget what thinking used to feel like.